Hey guys, my name is Nicole Hemphill, and welcome to another episode of Silence in the Backcourt. Guys, today I have an amazing guest with me. You want to talk about someone that knows ball? Dorie Harrison is someone that knows ball and plays it, and she's amazing. And Dorie, how are you doing?
I'm doing so good. I'm so happy to be with you guys. How you doing, Nicole?
I'm doing so well, Dorie. Thank you so much for making the time to be on this. I know we've talked about this quite often, and I'm so glad that we're finally making it happen.
Yes, me too. I'm glad we're here. Let's get into it.
Well, Dory, I do want to transition a little bit to your time at AU. So you said you were on the board. Can you tell me about your responsibilities and your title and all that jazz?
Yeah, for sure. I'm a member of the player executive committee, and one really cool thing about AU is like it's really player led and oriented. So a lot of the decisions that like the president and like the founders of AU make, they partner with us and like they ask for our input and opinion. And we vote a lot on roster changes. It's like a big thing. We vote on, everything from where we stay to what we eat, all those things. And we also, we're kind of like the check-in person for when season's going on, like for players, if they have a problem, they come to us and we just make sure like they're taken care of. And we are, we are tasked with like upholding and representing AU and its culture very well. And I loved AU from like the first moment I've ever been a part of it, because I knew that I was valued as a person there. So my time with AU has been nothing but transformative for myself, for my career. And I'm so thankful for Megan and John and, all the members of the PhD, Lexi and Sid and TP and Isabel, and like just everybody that does their part to make it go, because it really is a pioneer in the off-season industry. So the reason why AU was like formed is because before the cadence was like W players would play their season, which was so long. And it would end in like September, October-ish. And then they would have to go right overseas, to supplement the lack of money that they're making for the W. And there was just this constant cycle. So when they ended overseas, the W started and like really never got a break. And just like overseas has its benefits for sure. It's like travel, it's culture exposure, it's different styles of play and things like that. But as you start to like mature in your career, you really value like it's so hard. People don't see the the missed birthdays because you're over there. They don't see like the time that you don't get to spend holidays with your family and all those things, and just like even creating a life, like having a house, and a car. Like
Yeah.
it's really hard to like develop those things because you're never consistently in the country. So AU was the first domestic options for people to stay after the W season and play and earn a fair wage. So my time with AU has been really amazing. My first year, I was having, oh my gosh, Nicole, I had like the worst imposter syndrome ever. Like I was riddled with anxiety. I was so nervous to like talk to anyone. I was so nervous to like, to play. I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to say the wrong thing, anything. Yeah. I was just happy to be there. And so I feel like, it was that first week or something went on, and I was upset about something. I think girl, I don't know what I was crying about. I was a mess. But I remember one of the player development coaches, her name is Danielle Viglione. I love Dee so much. She was coming up to me and she was like, like we're getting to know each other. And she's like, no, I've been a part of AU for a minute. And like the first year, like we had a Bible study, but like now that player, she's gone. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I would love a Bible study. And she was like, you should host it. So then I started talking with like the director of basketball, Megan, and she like gave me the green light to like start hosting. And like every single week, like it just grew. Like, and more players came, and like people would tell me how much it was like helping them and impacting them. And it really just was, I feel like, a call for God put me in that position to be able to help people in that way and to help myself, because after I started Bible study, I started to experience way more peace and I started to play better. So it was like, and it also just was so in alignment with AU's like mission, because we really are player led. And that's what, like, based on my experience of what I've had in college and stuff, this was so refreshing to me to have like an environment where players are making like the decisions and it's very like player focused and everyone is benefiting. There's no
Right.
coaches also in AU. We have something called facilitators, which they help with like subbing, and they'll help with like the structure of like how they want to go. But the captain of each team like subs, and they're the coach.
Uh-huh.
So that model was very, very appealing to me. So after starting Bible study, I really saw my purpose begin to blossom outside of basketball. And I realized, okay, this is why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And all at the same time, like, I was able to like make leaps and bounds with just like the individual sessions with Danny. Like, I was getting so much better every single day. And she would let me know that. And it was like, after that, after that first year, it was great. And they're like, um the AU cut the roster down from 44 players to 40. So then I was like, okay, like, I wonder what this will look like next year. And I really loved my time there. I loved getting to know people. I made so many friends and connections, and I just really enjoyed, like, that was a place where basketball became fun again.
Yeah.
And I was invited back for my second year. Um, and I remember Megan, she said this to me, I'll never forget it. She goes, Dorie, you are exactly what AU is about. Like, you're the essence of why we started this, and we would love to have you back next year. And that meant so much to me, because like, I felt for the first time I was able to coexist with basketball and my faith, and like, it be valued.
Mm-hmm.
And so I worked really, really hard that next year because it was in Nashville, my hometown. I knew it was going to be in Nashville, and I worked really, really hard to develop to help AU partner with the community in a very successful way. So like, I got to work and I created this like 5-page document of like contacts and vendors and people that I knew, and venues, and charities, like everything that they needed to like, you know, to do well. And like, I would say about 40% of that got implemented into the following year, and we ended up having our record season of selling tickets in Nashville, and it was super successful. And so I understood, I started to understand why I was there. And another thing I really, really love about AU is like they work with like charities of the players
Yes.
organization. Yes. So this is like our impact program. So there are 40 players on the roster on the team, and every player gets to pick a cause that is near and dear to their heart to support. And I'll tell you about my cause in a moment, but there's also something called the leaderboard. So as you play games, you accumulate points. You accumulate positive points for good things, negative points for things like turnovers or things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
all those points, rank you on this leaderboard 1 through 40 for all the players. At the end of the season, wherever you end up ranking, equates to a bonus. The really cool thing is that AU will match that bonus and not just give it to you, but they'll also give that bonus to your charity. So it gives you another incentive to really like rise in the leaderboard, because the cause that you really care about will be supported. And so, just to tell you a quick story, kind of like how this all came about.
Mm-hmm.
The cause that I support currently is called Scars Uncovered, which is the burn survivor organization that helps people. It aids people into reintegrating into a normal life, supporting them through their injuries of like being burned or things like that. So in 2023, I I just graduated college, and I really had such a bad taste in my mouth about basketball just coming from the environment. And I that situation made me like um really didn't make me want to play basketball anymore. So I really leaned into like my makeup artistry side of things, and I was like, okay, let me give this a shot. And I was doing really well. Like I had a show on Apple TV. I was doing all these weddings and these celebrities and athletes, and like I was having a great time. And this one weekend in particular was probably one of the biggest weekends of my career, of my
Mhm.
makeup career. I had like award shows and a wedding. I had a celebrity. I was like, I was probably gonna make like so much money. So I'm headed to this wedding, start the weekend off. I'm driving. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, in the boonies. So
Mhm.
obviously the roads aren't really great like that. So I'm getting off the exit, and it's like this round exit, and I had like tea in my cup holder, and so I hit this pothole, and the tea like pours into my lap while I'm driving, and it was like the most insane experience. Like I I could smell my skin burning off my body. Like
Oh,
it was really really bad. I ended up with second and third degree burns on 10% of my body, two surgeries. The recovery was really long and like really treacherous. And so I was home recovering in Nashville, and my mom was a nurse, and she was like helping take care of me. And for some reason, this sounds so crazy, but that was like probably the most painful thing I've ever been through. When I got home, I was like, for some reason, I had this insane sense of peace and joy. I was like, I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm happy. Like I was like, I don't know, like this cannot be the end. This sounds like the beginning of something. And for some weird reason, I was not depressed. I was not like sad. I was not. I had so much joy, and like and people who were coming to see me, like bring me flowers and gifts and stuff. They were like, "You're in incredibly good spirits." I was like, I don't know
yeah.
why. So I was like, it's gonna be fine. My sister Isabel actually ended up being able to come home for a little bit, and she was helping take care of me. And I was telling her, I was like, I don't know why this happened, like right when I was about to like take off in makeup. And she was like, I don't know. We're talking, and then she tells me about AU. So that's kind of how I got reintroduced back into my pro career. After as soon as I could sweat, because like the recovery for being, I was scalded is the technical term,
Yeah.
but you have to like, you cannot sweat for like a very long time. You can't like immerse yourself in water because there's skin grafts and stuff like that. So I had to wait. Like I applied for this contract, and I had a call with Megan, and I was like, I hope I get in all this stuff. And, um, you know, there was there was a period of time where I was like, I don't know if this is gonna happen, like I'm fresh off an injury, all this stuff. And so that happened in October of 2023. I couldn't really work out or sweat until like December of 2023. And I got my contract the end of December, and for like 2 months straight until and AU's in February. So January and February, 3 times a day, like literally every day, I was working my ass off. Like I was running, I was lifting, I was shooting. Like I did not take a break. And by the grace of God, I got the contract. So um that is really important to me. That accident, that was, you know, meant to shift me. Like that was the hardest thing in my life, and it ended up becoming one of the most formative. And at the time, I thought God was taking something away from me. I thought He was like taking my makeup career away from me. And looking back, He was showing me that my purpose wasn't over. Like I still there's still something He was working on in basketball that He wasn't done yet.
Mhm.
And um, he promised that He would rewrite my narrative, and He has. And I just have tried to stay faithful to that and cling on to that when things look down or things look, you know, just difficult. And when things are amazing, I still cling to that. I don't let it it's never lost on me that I'm here because of him. It's never lost on me when I'm experiencing success and progress. That is not because of me. Yes, it's because I meet God halfway, right? I meet him halfway. And
Mhm.
that's the important thing I want people to know. Whatever you do, like you have to meet God halfway, but you don't have to figure it out on your own. You just have to allow yourself to be led by him, and wherever he places you, you work hard in that area. You know, wherever your feet are, you work hard in that area until he redirects you, you know? And so I think that I've 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 developed like a philosophy almost that keeps me grounded and that keeps me kind of focused. And it's really never failed me because I am a well-rounded person. So the thing that never has left me is like I try to touch a Bible, a brush, and a basketball every chance I get. Like the Bible keeps me grounded, you know, the brush keeps me creative, and the basketball keeps me like competitive, keeps me confident.
Mhm.
And like as long as I feel like I touch those three touch points all the time, like I feel like God, he keeps opening doors, and I'm gonna keep walking through them as he sees fit.
Dory, I think you just named this episode the Bible, the brush, and the basketball. Like that, I don't think of anything that could be better than that. Holy moly. You ate with that. Dang, Dory, that's a beautiful story. I mean, I'm so sorry that happened to you, but the perspective that you've drawn from it, I mean, I'm not sure very many people would come out of that the way you did with that perspective, and that's just a testament to who you are and how strong you are. And
Mhm.
I'm incredibly proud of you. That is
Thank you, Nicole.
unbelievable. That's I feel like you sharing that on this platform is going to help a whole lot of people and that may be going through an intense adversity, but you changing your perspective and not letting it, not wallowing in it, like
Mhm.
not knowing how to be sad after that, dude. That's incredible, Dory.
Thank you, Nicole. And I think if I don't mean to like take your question. I'm sure you're about to ask me this.
No, go for it.
But like if I there's something I want any athlete to know is like this your sport, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, whatever it is, that is going to be the least important thing you ever do in your life. It's the least important thing. You're more than the thing that you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
And that sport isn't for you to isn't for your self satisfaction, isn't for your, you want to prove to yourself you're the best. I pray that you have success over your career. I pray that you're able to flourish and like you get every single thing that your heart desires when it comes to your career. But I want you to know that once that basketball stops bouncing or once your career pivots, and it looks different, like I want you to build an identity that can last through those seasons and through those pivotal seasons. And your sport is really the least interesting thing about you. How do you treat people? How do you treat your teammates? How do you pour back into your community? How do you use the platform that you have to help others and to help yourself? And anything that you have been through, whether it be college or pro or all those things, I promise you're not alone because you're talking to two people who've been through it,
Yeah.
and that's why Nicole's created this platform is for us to connect and to like really know that there's a bigger purpose in this and the lessons that we're learning through bad coaching, college, injuries, mindset shifts. When I tell you those things are going to stick to your character and stick to your soul, and the amount of people that you're going to be able to impact because of your story is way bigger than your sport. Like for me, like I'm a basketball player, but I'm a daughter, I'm a creator, I'm a makeup artist, I'm a mentor, I'm a woman of faith. Like I'm just a person. And so the moment I stopped putting my identity into one basket was the moment I found my freedom.
I'm so proud of you. Oh my goodness. I'm not getting emotional. You're incredible. Oh my
I'm not crying, you're
goodness.
crying.
I'm not crying. You're what? Crying in the club right now, dude. Like what in the world? Dory, that was just I'm so glad you got to come on with us. Like, this is, I think
Oh my
your story
gosh.
is monumental, and I think you're even a more monumental person. Like, I think the world of you. Seriously.
I thank you so much. Like I thank you for having me on. I'm grateful for again our testimony because we wouldn't be here, without all that.
Yeah.
And like I'm grateful that God put us in each other's lives and that your help like you're this is how you're giving back. Like this is how you're making your story full circle. And I'm so incredibly proud of you. And you're such a hard worker. And I'm so the world's not ready for all the goodness and positivity you're pouring out into it. Like it needs it. I don't know if it can handle it.
I can't handle you telling me. Okay. Before I start gushing, okay. So I do want to transition just a little bit. I'm trying not to keep you up. We're going like an hour 45 right now. I'm gonna try to get you out as much
Okay.
as much as quickly as I can too. But I do want to talk mental health with you. And how do you prioritize your mental health? With all the stuff that you're going
Mm.
through with your current injury now, how is there like a routine that you have? Like, how do you prioritize it?
You know what? That's really a loaded question for me because I never really knew how to deal with my mental health going
Mm-hmm.
through in like college and pro. And it was kind of something that like after my sister passed away, I just like I had never been to a funeral before that. Like I didn't know really what death was. Like I didn't know how to grieve. And there's no like right way to grieve, but I just didn't know how to engage with that emotion.
Yeah.
And so that really put me into a spiral mentally. And I wasn't realizing it at the time. And because you think like mental health when you're sad, it's like depression, low energy, but like, no, I was going out, like I was doing everything but like handling my emotions,
Yeah.
and like accepting it. And I was avoiding it. Until when I got still and everything hit me at once and it was just so heavy, like I felt like I couldn't breathe, I really couldn't
Yeah.
breathe. I couldn't breathe. And sometimes you're gonna hear stories about people who go through that and they turn to their sport for that therapy. And while I love that, and it's a beautiful connection, and it's really those players are typically always successful because it's a great way to get your mental health together.
Mm-hmm.
I find that to be a trap because sometimes it's like you won't always have that basketball to turn to for therapy, Like it's
Yeah.
really important for you to be able to name your feelings, to articulate why you feel this way to the best of your ability, right? And to just like to take inventory of what's going on in your body. I think that's the biggest thing I could say is like I was going through all this stuff, but I never stood still enough to document it or to acknowledge it. Just like I feel sad, I guess, and let me just go out here and I'm about to go
Yeah.
out and go to a day party. You know what I mean? Like I didn't sit with myself and say like I think I just want to be around a whole bunch of people because I feel alone and the person I loved so much in this world is gone and I just don't want to be alone. Those are two different ways to approach the same behavior in a way that's going to push you a little bit forward and then a way that might keep you stuck in a cycle. And
Yeah.
so for me, my mental health journey has like evolved over the years. You know, I'm not, I have always I fell victim to the stigma of medication. I did not want to take medication because I didn't want to be like, oh, that person needs medicine, to
Yeah.
feel okay. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be that person. And then once I like got older, I just understood that sometimes you need support in different areas. You need support in different areas. And just because, if someone chopped their leg off and needed oxycodone, you wouldn't look at them twice because they're in pain and they need the
Yeah.
support. But because sometimes mental health is invisible, people aren't able to see how it really debilitates and see how it really like drains. So some things that I do to keep my mental health in check is like I take like the lowest dose of my medication possible that I feel like I can function on. Like I combine that with like holistic methods too. So like I take a bunch of vitamins that support like mental health. I'll take St. John's wort and omega 3s and things that keep your spirits high.
The
Um
ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha, ashwagandha will keep you
Ashwagandha.
chill.
And I love saying the word ashwagandha. Damn.
Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha.
Gandha. Exactly. So
Uh-huh.
just getting a supplement medicine routine together works best for your lifestyle. Another big thing for me is like moving my body. Like outside of basketball, I love Pilates. I love Pilates. I love Legree. Like I love like getting out and doing something different to move my body, not just basketball, you know?
Mhm.
Journaling is a really big part of that. And this is the big one, but just keeping your space clean will really help you bounce back when you're in a like a low space because like a low time in your life because your environment reflects how the condition of your mind on the inside. So even, a lot of times people talk about depression rooms and like the room looking crazy because they're like not doing well. But
Yeah.
if you can call a friend, share what you're going through, call someone trusted, your mom, your sister, whoever, and even just like being able to be honest, like, hey, I'm not okay right now. And I think I need some help with my room, if they can
Mhm.
come help you. This is like most extreme things, but if they can come help you like clean up your room, I promise you the next time you wake up in that clean room, your mental health is going to have such a boost. Like because you're
Oh yeah.
able to like see clearly, think clearly, and it's going to help you get out of those ruts. I think a lot of times with depression and or mental health, I don't say just depression, but mental health and athletes, it's like we're not really able to sit still enough to process. So again, I would say medication supplement routine. I would say moving your body, going outside, journaling, and meditation and praying is like my biggest one too because there's like debate on like okay is this is getting into it, but is mental health is depression, you know, of the devil? Is it a spirit and not actual medical, you know, depletion of dopamine and serotonin?
Okay.
And there, some people say, pray the sadness away or things like that. I don't believe that alone will help. I feel like it's a combination. Like God put things on this earth, like therapists and medicine,
Yeah.
to help you. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
With those things, but also I feel that um, I do still believe that like the joy of the Lord that He can intervene, and times where like my accident, when times when I should have been depressed, after I had that accident, for some reason I had so much peace. I didn't struggle that much mentally when it was actually the hardest thing I've ever been through, and I feel like that was because of God. So I think it's just about just getting to know yourself, being honest about where you are, getting a support system around you, and doing what works.
That's wonderful advice. Wonderful advice. And I really like how you said to take inventory. I wrote that down. To take inventory of your feelings. That's so important. Like it's important to be able to name how you're feeling and
Mm-hmm.
be able to express that to somebody else. And I wrote down like you have to diagnose how you're feeling to treat how you're feeling.
Mm,
So like
so
and that
true.
only comes from taking inventory, like sitting with yourself and
Mm-hmm.
rationalizing your emotions. And so like I feel this way because of this, and what can I do to treat this sadness or treat this feeling that I'm feeling? And I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the times athletes we're kind of told to push down our feelings, and because we're conditioned into being robots, and that's just not
Mm-hmm.
realistic. Like I'm a human being before I'm an athlete, and human beings have feelings, and that's just how it is. And for me to become a better person, I have to be able to feel my feelings. All right, guys, now we're going to be transitioning into the penalty box. Now, the penalty box is a portion of our show where we read either submissions that y'all have sent to us or Reddit stories that we have found talking about a sports story. So, this is to help people going through either a positive experience, negative experience, whatever it might be. So, we may analyze these stories and talk about things that have been done well, things that are done poorly, that need to be talked about, and it just helps the overall community talk about situations that we kind of are afraid of vocalizing. So we'll read these stories, and then Dorie and I will analyze them, and we'll give our fresh takes on them. So let's head to the penalty box. It says CPTSD, college PSD, I think that's what it means. Okay. Has anyone else experienced physical/mental abuse from a sports coach? Now, also, guys, one thing I want to mention about the penalty box, I have not read this. All of what I'm reading has been completely vetted by my team, and so this is the first time Dorie and I have read this story. So here we go. I didn't experience physical abuse, but definitely emotional and verbal abuse from my high school basketball coach. Though there was the occasional time where I feel like he would violate personal body space, demonstrating something on you in a way that didn't feel comfortable. In parentheses, he says he might have even been doing that while screaming at you, which definitely amped up the discomfort. And note, I'm a woman, so a teen girl at the time, and he was a middle-aged man. I didn't necessarily feel pushed to play on injuries, though I went through high school with virtually no injuries. Parentheses, 1 concussion was all, and it happened the very last game of our season, though I was sent back out on the court in that game post-concussion, which I know is so effing stupid, but I didn't know better at the time. But I definitely feel like I was pushed past exhaustion and overtrained. My mom once counted our summer season and found that I played or practiced 42 days in a row without a day off, and I was 15. And my practice hours in high school were actually longer than my practice hours were as a collegiate athlete, which is bonkers. I knew I didn't like him in high school, but it wasn't until I went to college and played for a coach who acted like an actual human being that I realized how horribly he treated us. For example, he wasn't afraid to tell us how stupid we were. In parentheses, that was pretty much the norm and expected. Screamed even if we were winning by 40 points, would throw clipboards and water bottles around. Parentheses, word was he used to throw them at the players, but had gotten in trouble for it. The joke was literally, in quotes, it's not if he makes you cry, it's when he makes you cry. And I have one distinct memory of him telling a girl, if I had a gun right now, I'd shoot you. And he was a white guy from a rural farming community, pickup truck driving, hunting kind of guy, so he absolutely owned guns. It was a high-performing program, multiple state championships, etc. So the way he treated us was very much overlooked. It's really horrific. These people that are supposed to take care of literal kids then go on and abuse them. And yeah, we should absolutely both be talking about more toxic sports culture and this type of abuse as well, and how it really impacts people. My confidence and my self-esteem were so shot when I entered college, especially around my abilities as an athlete. And I feel like I very much had to do some deprogramming around what a workout was. If you're not drenched in sweat, it doesn't count. If you can't lift X amount, you're weak, etc. It was effed up. So that's what this person submitted. Dorie, what is your take on this story?
Well, that's a lot. It sounds like she really went through it.
Yeah.
I think that I can't. It's so sad and like unfortunate when especially high school players get treated like that, because again we talk about like the power and authority, and it's like you are literally in charge of young development, like women that are developing into people, you know what I mean? And you're in charge of children. Oh, this is so bad. I'm sorry. I'm getting like, I can't find my words, because like it really pisses me off, because the Bible said that children are a gift from God. Like, you know, yeah, high school you get a little bit older, but still, like that's a child. You know, like they're under the care and authority of the adults around them. So it's like I hate that one, that she went through that and she was subject to it, and everybody on her team. But then looking back, you see that she even made this Reddit post to like, it's still affecting her. You know what I'm saying? Like she's still thinking about it. She's still like something that happened in high school, because like, you know, it's even worse when it's like a man coach and like it's a women's team too, because there's that like gender dynamic of it as well.
Yes,
I think that it's like it's super unfortunate that, you know, she wasn't able to like really have a good career, and then like she was at high risk too, because it said she had a concussion. She had to go back in the game. Like when I had my concussion, girl, I couldn't even see. Like I
Yeah.
was so out of it. So depending on how bad it was, I'm so like I don't know how she went back in the game. So
Concussions are
that's not
brain injuries. They are
yes.
brain injuries. Let's not play with them. Like,
Exactly. What
sorry,
do
I
you
didn't mean
think?
to interrupt you.
No,
Um,
that was it.
yeah, so like I find it really, really frustrating when a coach treats a player like that because it's not a coach's job to make somebody hate their sport.
Hmm.
As a coach, you are a mentor, you are a teacher, you are an educator, right? You're not supposed to be somebody's tormentor. And
Hmm.
whenever you exploit that power dynamic, I find it very, very like evil. Like
Yes.
you are doing whatever you can to make somebody else feel small, and you have college coaches doing that, but to do that on the high school level when it's an actual child and you're an adult, I mean, that's evil. Like that's not
Hmm.
okay. And it just goes to show how of a little of a person this coach was or this human was to feel like they had to pick on a child and probably labeled it tough coaching. When in reality, no, that's just you being cruel and exploiting the fact that you can be cruel and then calling it tough coaching or calling
Hmm.
it or just like that's just the way we are. That's just the culture. Like for the saying to be, it's not if he makes you cry, it's when he makes you cry. Like you're talking about high schoolers, and there's not the empowering kind of environment one women need, but two children in general need. And
Hmm.
so I feel horrible that this happened, but the green flag that I am going to take from it is that when they were in college, they experienced something better. So that she kind of
Yeah.
realized in hindsight, okay, what I experienced in high school was, like she said, bonkers. Like that's not
Hmm.
okay. And I'm glad she experienced something different in college so she could look back and go, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. And I did get a negative experience, but now I know in the future, okay, this is something that I can learn how to enjoy once again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree
Like,
with that.
yeah. I mean, as a coach, your job is to love your players and move with grace and have good intention. And whenever you take that power, that like you said, that authority, and turn it into an exploitative power dynamic, it's just something that's cruel and people should hold you accountable for. And that's not, it doesn't matter how many
Hmm.
championships you win. At that
Hmm.
point, you're hurting people's lives because they're more than athletes. They're human beings. So of course they're going to take that home with them. And so like you are now impacting who they are as humans, and
Hmm.
you have no right to do that. Like you said, like you don't get to put a period at the end of my sentence. You don't get to put a period at the end of my story. And when
Hmm.
coaches do that, like that's incredibly wrong. And when young high school athletes, they're developing, they don't necessarily know how to stand up for themselves yet. A lot of
Hmm.
young women in college don't know how to stand up for themselves like that, and so they exploit these young women on that level too because they just don't know how to vocalize because
Exactly.
they're being conditioned to thinking that they deserve it or that's just the way it is. I mean, it's very courageous to ask for more for yourself,
Hmm.
and it's really, really scary to do so. But I'm really proud of this person for sticking through it and then being able
Hmm.
to look back and think, okay, I know what I went through was wrong, and what I'm experiencing now is what it should be like. Sorry, that was a long-winded explanation.
I like that though. And you know what, Nicole, I really hate to say this and I don't even want to be this type of person, but based on what she said, I I would bet that on some level with one of her teammates there was probably some sort of sexual exploitation or inappropriate behavior from the coach because
Mm,
it's like he was getting away with doing all these crazy things to y'all, like making you cry, doing like being extreme in behavior, yelling at you, sometimes being physical with you. That is not too far from it stepping over that line. And a lot of times because he got away with it, I'm sure. And I pray that this is not the case, but I could see this story being way more grave than she's explaining. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and that's sad because it happens.
Yeah,
It
it
happens. I mean,
does.
it's not, and one thing I will point out too. I mean, I have a lot of reservations whenever I see, and a lot of coaches are getting in trouble for it now. Whenever they end
Hmm.
up, it comes out that they were dating a player, especially like on the college
Girl.
level. Um, I know we're all adults, right? We're all of age, but it's still exploiting a power dynamic. And
Hmm.
it's like dating your boss in a business setting. That's kind of stuff you have to take to HR, and
Hmm.
it's frowned upon, and it makes all your coworkers or your teammates extremely uncomfortable, and it puts them at a detriment too. So like
Hmm.
that needs to be talked about more. But I can definitely see what you're saying, that there could be another layer to it, and I really hope that that's not the case. But
Yeah.
it's another form of exploitation, and that's not okay.
Girl, it's crazy. Even though it's worse overseas. I had a teammate who was dating the coach, like their boyfriend and girlfriend. Like
No,
she was bringing him food to practice. Like,
no.
yeah, and a lot of people do a good job of keeping it professional because, like you said, at that point, like you're grown, whatever. But it's very weird because if y'all are fighting, now I gotta run suicides. Get on my
Yeah, it's
face
not. Come
because he's
on, like for real.
mad. Like, come on.
Like you made him mad. Now I'm in trouble. And two, I got to worry about too. Like, okay, are you getting playing time over me because you're taking him home? That's not okay. That's not
It's
fair.
not good.
That's not okay. No.
Girl, it's crazy. It's
It's kind
wild.
of gross. It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Like I have to sit there in the locker room and be like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to leave the penalty box and head back to the show now. Okay.
Okay.
Dorie, before we let you go, because this is going to be the last thing we probably talk about, as you know, or you may know, we are partnered with No Solo, and No Solo is a mental health advocacy brand, clothing brand, and they're partnered with us, and we absolutely love them. No Solo is really cool because 20% of the proceeds that they get goes to the No Solo Give Back Foundation, which funds mental health initiatives around the globe. And Dorie, we
Nice.
want to send you home with some No Solo stuff, and so we'd be really happy to ship you out some stuff and get some cool stuff. I'm repping No Solo all the time. I absolutely love them.
That's
They
a
just
cool hoodie.
thank you, John, Sarah. You're amazing. We love it so much, and so we want to send you home with some stuff. And for the rest of y'all watching, if you use promo code Backcourt on No Solo's website, you'll get 20% off your order. So, like I said, Dorie, we're gonna send you some stuff so you can rock out with us and advocate for mental health, because that is something that we are really focused on here, and so we just want you to share in that.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be a part. And I'm super excited to rock the merch. I'm all for it.
That's it for our show, guys. Please remember that no matter where you are in your journey, you are more than enough always. Thank you again, Dorie.
Thank you for having me. Bye guys.